This was the prelude to the city being submerged. Manhole covers were hissing as water gushed out. Water rats scurried in panic. Animals grew agitated and frantically banged against iron cages, and birds flew wildly in an attempt to escape. An elderly woman went out to fetch water, but when she looked up, she saw a 1-meter-high well overflowing. With such an obvious warning of disaster, hadn't the government noticed? In fact, 6 weeks earlier, the authorities had received a telegram warning that the city was about to face a massive flood, but the officials had dismissed it. There hadn't been any rain recently, and besides, it was the dry season. Flooding seemed utterly impossible. However, when the governor saw the sender's name on the telegram, he took it seriously. The sender was none other than Jessica, a renowned hydrologist in the country, who measured and recorded water levels every day. Recently, she had noticed the water levels rising sharply and the currents accelerating at an unprecedented rate, so she sent an urgent telegram to the government. 6 weeks later, a military helicopter arrived late, landing in a rush in front of Jessica's house. The top officials gathered for an emergency meeting to discuss flood response plans, yet an elderly professor from the Hydrology Bureau voiced the opposite view. According to his calculations, the idea of a flood was nonsense. The alert water level was only a few centimeters above normal. They had already raised the sluice gates and cleared the weirs, and the city had never experienced a flood in nearly a century. To vent his frustration, he even mocked Jessica. "You're so young. At most, you're just a postdoc, right?" Jessica politely replied, "I prefer field work over theory." The next day, Jessica took a military officer to conduct further on-site observations. When they reached the riverbank, she suddenly bent down and ordered the officer to do the same. With their ears pressed to the ground, they could clearly hear the sound of the rushing underground water. Jessica told the officer that at the current rate, if the water rose another 2 meters, the flood levee would be washed away like a sandbag. As they drove, Jessica noticed that some large trees were already turning yellow, a sign that the groundwater had accumulated significantly.